All right, in the last video, we got the ball to move when I pressed any key, and we got the ball to bounce off the left and right walls, and then I left it as an exercise for you to make it bounce off the top wall. Hopefully you got that working. And then if it hits the bottom, what you should do is just make the ball stop so the game ends. So you'll see the ball stops here. Hopefully you figured out how to do that. As a hint, you just want to change the speed of the ball to 0. So both dx and dy will be set to 0. So what we're going to do in this video now is draw one brick. We may not actually draw the brick today, but we'll just set up the brick class. Or this video will get you started and you'll complete the rest of it. Once we make a brick class definition, a template, then you can actually reuse that code and create several bricks or even an array of bricks or a 2D array of bricks. And that's hopefully what your final project will have. Okay, so new class, and this is going to be brick. So think about what a brick might have. What instance variables, what characteristics would every brick have? Okay, so your instance variables, you would likely want an XY position, and that can represent the top left corner. You would want variables for the width and the height of the brick. Oops, sorry, this should be called brick, not break. Perhaps a color. I mean, not absolutely necessary, but you could have a color as an instance variable. And then another instance variable that you probably want to have is a Boolean value called visible. And so if this value is set to true, which you should set to true in the constructor, then the brick will be drawn on the screen. But at certain times of the game, for instance, when the brick gets hit by the ball, then you can easily set this variable to false, and then we'll have some code somewhere else that will not draw the brick if this variable is false. Okay, so I'm going to let you put in all the instance variables that you think you need, and then I would like you to make the constructors. Okay, accessors, you should know what to do here. Mutators. We didn't really talk about this before. We don't really need a toString method for this class or the ball class. Because it's a graphical user interface and not a command line interface or text-based, we're not likely going to be printing a text version of these objects, so no need for a toString method. What we will need though, just like we did with the ball class, is we need something that will draw the brick. Okay, so we're going to make a draw method, and I'll help you with that here. So this is going to be a void method, draw. Again, this is the same header as brick. Okay, and then inside here, we're simply going to set the color to color. Okay, well, what is that again? That's going to be an instance variable. All right, and then we're also going to draw a rectangle at XY width height. And these are also instance variables that hopefully you have declared up here, and you've created accessors and mutators for them. Remember the fill rect command. Some of you have used this before, but this XY represents the top left corner of where you want to draw brick. And then this, of course, is the width and then the height of the brick. One more thing you might want to make, I mean, you can do this in a different way, but you might want a hit method. So whether or not this brick gets hit or not. So eventually, when the program is running, you always want to be calling this method on every brick to determine if this brick is hid. Actually, let me correct myself. This method is only going to be called when the ball makes contact with it. So you're always checking whether the ball makes contact or not. And if it does make contact, or if it intersects with one of the bricks, then we're going to call this hit method on this particular brick. So then what we would do is just change the visibility of this brick to false. And if you want, you can actually say this dot visible, but you don't need to. Okay. So we're going to be calling this method and this method from another class, from our BrickBreaker game class. So I am going to stop here and let you finish this whole class. And then in the next video, we're actually going to draw a brick. We'll create one or two instances of bricks and draw them, and then see if we can get the ball to interact with it, to basically hit the brick and make it disappear. Okay.